This is the holy trinity for perfect chatbot answers. If you have a chatbot or you want to build a chatbot, then you need to master these three things in order to get the 100% perfect answers from your chatbot. I rank them in no particular order. They're all equally important. Number one is finding a good model. Your chatbot needs to run on a good model. The best ones here are GPT-4o by OpenAI or Claude 3 Opus. There is Gemini and there is Grok and there are some Llama models, but they are not as good by far than GPT-4o, and I mean GPT-4o, not GPT-4o mini, GPT-4o and Opus 3 by Claude. Which one of these you use is up to you. Opus is typically more human in their answers, a bit more personalized, while GPT-4o is a bit deeper in their understanding and in their reasoning. GPT-4o or Claude 3 Opus. The second thing is a structured input, and here you don't have too much control over because the input is coming from your clients and not from you. So you can't have an effect on how they structure their prompts and their questions and how they use the chatbot, how they write the messages. Though it is important that this is perfected, but you can't do really much here. The things I like to do is in the chatbot tell the user to ask detailed questions and give as much context as possible. If the answer fails and the user doesn't like the answer because the chatbot didn't come up with the right information, I often use a system prompt that is telling the user to add more context or try to ask more specific for the thing they want. Other than that, you merely have any control over how this turns out. A little pro tip here may be to ask a follow-up question from the chatbot. So user asks a question and you ask a question about the question. So for example, let's say you're a software business selling a lead generation software and a user asks, how does your software work? Then the chatbot could ask back a question to, for example, what is your business? What is your business doing? So that then it can give an answer of what your software does for his specific business, for example. So we get more details, more context. So this is the only things you can do here. Communicate clearly how to use the chatbot, give details, give context, and ask follow-up questions from the chatbot. Other than that, you don't have any control really over this right here. And the third step, a deep knowledge base. This is the most complex thing, but it is profound for the ability of your chatbot to answer questions perfectly. Because not only do you need to give the chatbot access to every information there is about your business and your software and your clients or whatever, everything the chatbot needs to know or you want him to know, give him as much of that as humanly possible. The other thing is that this data you give him needs to be clearly structured, so the chatbot has it easier to find the correct data. And what do I mean by good structure? For example, by different topics. One topic about our team, one about how the software works, one about what it is, one about how we came up with it, one about how the client works, one about the documentation and the reasoning behind the software. All of these different topics need to be clearly structured, where the one begins and where it ends and where the next begins and where that ends, and so on and so forth. So you want that clearly segmented. As well, what you can do to deepen this strategy is within the chatbot that you build. I know many bot builders have that, at least VoiceFlow has it, and I'm a big fan of VoiceFlow. You can put the different data sources into different folders. So you create one folder with every information about your company, one folder with every information about your software, one folder with every information about how the client works, one folder with all of the information about how to fix problems in your software, and so on. So put it in different categories so the chatbot knows where it needs to go. And then as well in the actual documents or links or in the texts you upload to the chatbot, they need to be understandable, readable, have good grammar and good punctuation, because neither you nor the chatbot can read a text that has no grammar and no punctuation. So get that straight. This should be foundational. The other thing is make the language readable. So no fluff, not unnecessary information, and definitely not too complex speeches, not too highly eloquent diction in your words. The chatbot needs to understand it. And though AIs can understand complex text, you don't necessarily need to try this out. So simple, no fluff, punctuation and grammar. And if you upload documents or websites, make sure that the text on there is readable. No gray text on a black background. Not uploading documents that are just all over the place, wrongly compressed, and so texts are overlaying each other. And you don't want the information in your knowledge base to be easily understood. So no phrases that could mean two different things. No phrases that don't have a clear meaning and are just vaguely formed to whatever case. So to sum the last part up, you want your knowledge base to be segmented into the different topics. You want the grammar in the text to be readable with punctuation and good grammar. You want it with not too much fluff, no unnecessary phrases, just what actually needs to be in there, and have that on a basic lingual level so everyone can understand, even the chatbot. And they need to be clearly structured, not to be misunderstood. So to get an overview of all of it, choose a good model, ideally GPT-4o or Claude 3 Opus. Tell your user how to use the chatbot, give details, give information, and ask follow-up questions, and have a deep and structured knowledge base, like I said a few moments ago. If you have all of these perfect, you have the perfect chatbot answers. I guarantee it. There is not more to it than that. That's literally all. This was it with this rather short video. I though hope you were able to learn and understand better how reasoning and answering from a chatbot works and how you can implement it for a chatbot, because I see many people doing none of these or doing them wrong or doing them half-heartedly. Thus, I made this video to get rid of the misinformation. So, I hope you enjoyed the video. If so, then I have a few more videos on the channel explaining the topic of chatbot for software companies more deeply. So go watch those and go and subscribe to this channel to join everyone else who's trying to help out their businesses with chatbots. This was all for today. Go and watch this video right now, and then we'll see us in the next video. Goodbye.